and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, Castbox is your best option. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys. Good morning, good night. Thank you for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. Tino and Gia here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the new DLC, we'll call it, that just came out. Also, if you guys are new, please head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. How are you doing, Gia?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm decent. I'm on the road to affiliate. And for those of you who don't know, Gia just recently became a Twitch affiliate. So slow clap.
That was kind of a fast clap, but good enough.
I got excited because of the way it sounded. I'm a scumbag. But yeah, no. So we've been streaming more, and Gia's been doing super well because, you know, it's Super Gia. So she's out there killing it.
Super Gia.
But for those of you who are interested in checking out our streams, mine is just twitch.tv/Tino plus Ultra. And Gia?
Mine is just /Apola Star. Very simple. Matches everything else on all of my other social media.
So there you go. If you guys ever want to come out, just hang out, you know, you're invited. So that being said, Monster Hunter World's been out for a week now. And we did a show on like the original Monster Hunter World. I think two, actually. 2 shows. I think we did one like about the game, and then we did another one specifically about Behemoth, if memory serves correct.
Yep, we did.
And yeah, so this, like, they added in a lot of new content, and a lot of people didn't want to get this game because they felt like it was a waste. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, Monster Hunter World has given us so much free content since its release. Like, I couldn't be happier with the game. Capcom's done a wonderful job, and for what you're paying for, I think it's worth it. They've got all new areas, tons of new monsters. There's new combos. There's new ranking systems. They've got master rank now, which is awesome. I don't know. I've been addicted to it so far. I'm really, really enjoying the pacing of it. How about you?
Oh, I definitely am too, and I'm loving all of the creatures being brought forth from some of the prior games. And I'm going to be excited to kind of delve into that a little bit more later in the podcast. But no, one, I think we were having a conversation, you and I, Tino, with someone about how they weren't going to buy it because they were like, oh, I'm not going to buy a game just for 2 new monsters and like just rehashes of the same old monsters. And I was
Elijah from the Body Snatchers Facebook group, my brother.
No, I don't think it was Elijah. It was someone else. It was someone like not involved in our group chat.
Oh, well, I don't know. I know Elijah didn't want to get it because he said it felt like a waste.
Yeah, but we were talking to someone in the Discord, and it was not Elijah. It was somebody that was on playing like Final Fantasy 14 with us. But I remember having that conversation, and I was like, you must be smoking crack, because do you really think they're going to put out a whole new, like, pretty much a standalone game that links in with the old one, and you're telling me that you really think they're only going to have 2 new monsters? Like, two new ones. No other new ones. None at all, just 2. So I'm pretty excited because doing a quick count, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 monsters, including what looks like 2 elder dragons, the new one being teased in the new DLC that's going to be coming out next month. Yeah. So we have 2 elder dragons already. We have several other, some of them new to Monster Hunter World, some of them being, you know, changes, like subspecies of monsters that we've already seen. I mean, we get Glavenus in, and then we already get like a subspecies of Glavenus.
Yep.
So there's just a lot that's happened, that's going on. Not we specifically, but Tino got bodied by Tigrex a couple times, and here we are.
Oh yeah, I hate Tigrex. I don't even like that monster. Like, I avoid that fight as much as possible. He's just a pain in the ass to fight. I don't enjoy it at all. But on the other side,
I completely thought its name was Tigrex, by the way, like, because I've never heard it spoken like out loud. So when they said Tigrex, I was like, I've been butchering this dude's name.
You're completely. Like, oh, imagine that. But my favorite new monster, which isn't really new, but Glavenus. I absolutely love Glavenus. Like, he's so badass. The armor sets look amazing. The acidic Glavenus is also really awesome looking. I couldn't like speak higher of how enjoyable the fights are with him. He's got this huge blade on his tail that he like strikes through his mouth that creates sparks and shoots like giant fireball waves at you. It's just awesome.
Well, it's so funny because when we were initially fighting Glavenus, you were just like, because I was explaining it to you, and you're just like, oh, that sounds cool. And then like Tino basically got a man crush immediately on Glavenus. It was like, oh, this is like that ex-girlfriend that like you don't want to let go, but you know you should let go because it's so bad for you. This is exactly how I feel right now.
Oh yeah, and it's and I already have his whole set, and I just started on the acidic Glavenus set. I can't help it, like, you know what I mean. I just felt some type of way.
Well, see, and for me, that's exactly how I felt about Nargacuga and also about the Ebony Odogaron. So when we first get introduced to Ebony Odogaron, he's just like wrecking shop, and Tino and I are both watching this cutscene at pretty much the same time, where we're just, holy crap, did he just do that thing? And he did do the thing that we were like, wow. And then we just went on to whipping him, and he is a beast, and his armor set looks awesome. And funny story, when I initially saw it, I was like, holy crap, I need to make this. So I posted up a picture of it on my Instagram, and my cosplay friend Nami, she immediately, like, it was up in my stories, she responded to me in a message. She goes, girl, that's basically a bikini. And I just started laughing because I was like, you know what it is? It's a tankini with like little shorts for bottoms, and then it's got like some armor around it with some chainmail.
It's for maximum protection.
Definitely. You got to protect the side of the thighs. You got to protect one boob, only one, and you got to protect half your face.
Well, yeah, and not only that, it's the breathability. You know, you can move around so well with coochie cutters on.
And heavy chainmail.
Yeah, right?
No, like, I think it looks really awesome. And I even liked, I can't remember which set it was exactly. I think the Shrieking Legiana armor. I really like the beta for that. It came out looking pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it does look great. In fact, all the new sets look pretty great. I mean, I think there's something for everybody out of all the new sets style-wise, and they really went out of their way to kind of switch up the styles that you saw in the previous sets, which I think is fun because I did notice, not all, but a lot of them, they kind of had like similar designs. You know, it'd be like a group and it would just kind of stick. These are more off the wall, depending on what monster you're looking at. And, each monster usually has two different styles to it. I feel like more often than not, you've got two styles that look more fun and inviting. You're like, okay, if this one didn't do it for you, then this one might. You know, they're not so similar where you're like, oh, okay, you barely changed anything.
Well, even with that, some of them, it is exactly like that. I think, I can't remember offhand which one it is, but one of the newer ones that just unlocked, literally the only difference between the alpha and the beta set is that there's a color change. Like, I literally, like, turned the suit around multiple directions on both the alpha, and this is on, like, the new master rank armor. I turned it around. I think it might be the Brachydios. I can't...
It is.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, and I was like, all they did was change, like, the color of this little inner piece on the piece. It looks exactly the same.
No, you're right, but that's why I said most, not all. There are a couple that are exactly as you say, but there's some that look entirely different.
Oh, no, and I agree with you. I was just saying, like, as a caveat to that, there are some that they were just like, we're lazy. We don't really care about this armor set.
Yeah, I wonder what the reasoning for that was when it came down to designing.
I mean, maybe they just put all their effort into some of the other ones, like the Narga sets or the Glavenus sets. And then they got to Brachydios, and they were just like, nah, we good. They have enough cool-looking armor.
And I did want to bring up, so GS said the thing earlier. I don't want to give out like a definite spoiler for like what we saw in that cutscene, but I will say this. There's a bunch of cutscenes that they do where they've got an old monster in the cutscene getting folded by a new monster, and it's pretty badass.
Oh, it's amazing. And then
every time.
Yeah, and then the turf war fights now are like so much more brutal. And sometimes you get like a 3-way turf war where like 2 monsters in the area, they're turf war, and then the third monster comes in, and the third monster wrecks both of the old ones after they wrecked each other. And it's just like, what the F?
I feel like they did spend a lot more time kind of on the choreography between them. It doesn't feel so general, like where there's like one big move that they do together where one monster slams one. That's the only thing he does every time. It feels more, organic, like it's an actual battle and fight, which I think is pretty cool. So
I agree.
I'm glad you highlighted that. I almost forgot about that.
Nah, never gonna forget them turf wars, especially when you had the Glavenus and the Barioth, and then like a Barioth and something, or Narga ran through, something like that. And I was just like, what the heck is going on? And then like every time, if y'all watch our streams, you'll just hear me and Tino, like we're running after a monster, we're going after him, and then we see another monster run through, and every time, like clockwork, I'm like, Tino, stop running, don't go close, let him turf war.
Oh man. And there was I seen one, I have a video clip of it, I keep forgetting to post it because I've been busy, but it's Glavenus and Diablos, and it's right over, for those of you who are familiar with the game, there's an area where Diablos like kind of comes out of the ground, like it's if you go down the hole, it brings you down to like this little cavern where he sleeps.
Yeah, it's its little hidey hole. It's its home.
And the very first time he's introduced, he actually comes out of there and grabs a Barith and like eats him or something, kills him, whatever. So it's that area, and the Glavenus goes over there, and they got into a turf war fight, and I was like, oh, okay, so like this will probably be pretty good because they're about the same size. Nope. Glavenus just wrecked shop, like picked him up like a rag doll and just slammed him, and I was like, oh my god, like I actually felt kind of bad for the Diablos, kind of. But I don't know, you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of your original monsters just get totally thrashed, and I think that video even starts off where there's a scene, without giving anything away, but between a Rathian and the Glavenus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pretty interesting the way that worked out too.
Nah, I'm just going to talk about that one real quick. The Rathian was like looking at you and growling, and then we thought it was looking at you and growling, but it was looking at Glavenus, and Glavenus was like, nah, not today. You not growling at me. Not when I'm about to take your little nest and use it as my own.
Right.
Yeah, it was great.
So this is what we're not going to do today.
I'm not about to go into spoilers, but I'm gonna talk about that just for that quick second, because there's more into that scene.
Yes, it's a pretty good scene, and it's early on in the game, so if you guys get it, I mean, it's not like a long story, long way into the story. And that's another thing. It's very evident that the creators listened to the minor complaints that we had with the first game, because there wasn't too much, but it just wasn't super clean. Like, honestly, the game kind of blew until you get through the story mode. This one, I feel like the story mode it's just a lot easier to engage. It's put together much better. It's actually interesting. Not to say the first one wasn't, but I mean, it holds my interest much, much better this time.
The only thing that I would hope that they would look into in the future, maybe in future patches, is allowing people to just run the story together, not making us have to sit through a cutscene to be able to have someone else in our game. And that was something big that, like, when Steven was playing with us initially, where I'm pretty sure that that's the reason why he stopped playing, because when he would play with us, we would have to wait for his cutscenes to go before we could join his game. And then on top of that, like, when he tried playing with one of his other friends that weren't us, they had to do the same thing. They were at the same part of the story, but they each had to do it individually, watch the cutscene individually. Then one person would have to leave and then join the other person. And I think if they just kind of got rid of that and allowed you to just join right off the bat with people, and I mean, who cares if you have someone that's already done it and they have to watch a cutscene again? Okay, whatever. I'd rather have to watch a cutscene again versus, having to join in on someone's game, having to wait the, 30 seconds it takes to say that you're prepared to depart, to get in, to run to the person to try to help them. I feel like that could just be a little bit better. But aside from that, everything looking cleaner is definitely a plus. I was very happy for that as well, and just for things moving more smoothly. And there's like this level of difficulty that you have right off the bat, where we didn't really have that in the first part of the game, the original release. And things didn't start to get difficult until you really hit like running into Nergigante and running into like the other Elder Dragons. That everything just kind of seemed like, unless you just weren't buying new equipment at all, it kind of was like slicing through butter. And this one, there's definitely a lot more difficulty to it, which is nice.
Yeah, it's just for those of you who are familiar with the game who haven't gotten this far, the best way I could describe it is if you've ever fought a tempered elder dragon or something like that, just imagine like that level of difficulty as far as like, their rapid movements and their refusal to stay in a trap and, that sort of stuff, but on like a basic monster. You're like, oh, Oh, Anjanath, no big deal. And you're like, what the hell? Like, why is he? What?
Yeah, so like all of them enrage now, and that is something that was unique to the Elder Dragons before, as Tino noted. But now it's like, so if you look at the bottom, like left hand of your screen, you have like your little map, and it's got the little thing where it shows the icons for the creatures. And we all know that there's certain icons that mean certain things. There's like a mouth over it that has like spittle coming from it. The thing is hungry, it's running out of stamina, it's a lot slower, it's making mistakes. So like if it jumps at you, it could fall. If it's trying to do a specific move, it could end up like rolling over onto its side a lot easier. You have the skull, which means it's almost dead. But before, they kind of had these, obviously, like when it's running away from you, when you've dealt enough damage to fight it off, it has like this little white upside down, well, it's like an N shape. Or is it a U shape? I can't remember. It's one of those. It's either an N or a U. But anyway, so it's white. And when it notices you, it's usually yellow. Even though like your scout flies turn red, and the little like wasp thingies that fly around that tell you of danger, like they turn red. When it turns red though, that's when they are enraged, and they just won't stay in traps, like Tino said. They will just run through everything to smack you. They deal more damage when they're enraged. And then eventually their enraged period ends. And part of like the tutorial when you first start playing the game is like the commander's son is just basically telling you, he's like, hey, if they're enraged, run away, because they're going to be hitting really hard. Wait until their enraged period ends, and then go back after them again. And usually, like I was saying before, those little icons, when it goes back from red to yellow, that means that they're no longer enraged, but they're still coming after you. So, like, me and Tino, of course, we ignore that. Enraged? We don't care. Let's go get smacked around a bit. And then, like clockwork, every single time we're like, holy crap, I ran out of potions. I ran out of mega barrel bombs trying to blow them up.
It's the 5Ds of dodgeball. You got to dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge again.
You almost did not remember those.
Yeah, but I'll never forget. It's been a while since I've said it out loud, but I mean, it's embedded in my subconscious.
That pause, though.
I didn't know which D I was gonna give him.
Uh-oh. Tino just giving out Ds.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Oh no, I mean I can't sympathize with that. I don't give out any Ds normally.
You know, I feel like we're gonna get into awkward territory. Let's just back up. I'll switch up the subject. So one thing that you guys should know if you've watched our streams or if you're friends with me and Gia or just listen to us talk is we're both sexually attracted to the dual blades. We can't help it. That's just like our favorite way to play, and that's it. That's all we do. We get all the different variations. We love it. One thing that they've done with all the weapons, but specifically we'll highlight dual blades, is when you take advantage of this new clutch claw grappler that they added in. Woo. So, and what that is like, remember when you wanted to jump up really high and you could aim, pick the little, like the shiny area, you shoot the grappler up and it pulls you up? Well, now you can do that to monsters and, flip around them and do all sorts of steampunk Spider-Man meets Attack on Titan. I mean, you can get in there and cut these guys up.
I love clinging to their faces and smacking them because it makes them change directions, and you can just make them go into a big old donut. And I mean, after a while, they get mad and then they like shake you off. So you just got to like triangle hit them. Or if you play on Xbox, whatever that button is to do your special attack. I don't know. Or if you're on the PC, whatever key that is for you. But if you're on the PlayStation, you just hit that triangle and then you just like do this spin thingy that's kind of like your Demon Flurry, and it just drops stuff off of them like, I don't know, dragon pods, slinger thorns, pieces of them.
A moment of silence for those with PCs who don't have this expansion yet.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it January for y'all? God, sorry.
Yeah, they pushed them back. I ffeel bad. I actually would have considered getting it on PC, but you can't. So whatever, I'm on PlayStation. But what I wanted to add to that was, so all the weapons have like new combos that work with the clutch claw grappler. So with dual blades, when you're doing a combo, there's like a very high percentage chance that you can get that monster to drop slinger ammo, which I think is pretty cool. And like a little catchphrase pops out in the screen that's like, oh, Tino's hurt the monster, Tino grab ammo, or whatever. And I really enjoy that. I think it adds a little something to the game that just makes it more enjoyable, because some of these monsters, you have to use those slingers. Like if you don't and you try to do it like the old fashioned way, like you're just going to get your shit pushed in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That I wanted to bring up. What else you got for us, Gia?
I don't know. I really like the Odegaran. The typings. So when we get into the subspecies of the new monsters that aren't so new, because they're just variations of your old monsters, and then of course we got a variation of one of our new monsters. So you have, for instance, Odogaron, and then you have the Ebony Odogaron. And not to get into too much detail, but Ebony Odogaron is a dragon type versus, just what its old typing was. And now it's like weak against water. And then you have like a Fulgur Anjanath, which is like lightning instead of fire. And then, of course, you have the acidic Glavenus. He's sulfuric acid. You have a Pookie Pookie who, is just not a fun Pookie Pookie, like, at all. And it makes me, he like spits water out of everywhere.
He squirts on you. It's mad disrespectful.
Like, it comes out of the tip of his tail and his mouth, and then he shoots like 3 streams at you. And then you have the Nightmare Palumu, which puts you to sleep. Like, literally just blows Nightshade Palumu. I call him the Nightmare because he puts you to sleep and then steps on you, and it sucks.
It's super annoying. He's just like, go to sleep. Shh. Every 2 seconds. Like, oh my God.
You didn't hit that sleep toad? But guess what? My breath is making you sleepy. He's like got chloroform cologne in his breath.
He doesn't even really hit that hard. It just takes forever because he puts you to sleep every 2 seconds, and you're like, oh my.
Yeah, and it's annoying. And it's harder to knock him out of the sky because like every 2 seconds he's puffing back up and then just blowing. And then he sucks it all back in. So like he'll blow this like sleepy smoke at you. And then after it's done like permeating, he like sucks it back up to make himself like float again. And it's just like, what are you doing? Stop.
It's super annoying. But I wanted to add on to what Gia was saying. So with these new like variations of monsters that are coming out, these subspecies, make sure you just don't make the mistake of assuming that, you can go in and however you tackled one, species of monster, it's going to be similar, because these types make such a big difference. And, to add on to that, my favorite one so far is definitely that Lightning Anjanath. That thing, when he gets into his enrage mode, when it's like spikes flare up, it's like a slow process as the blades like slowly go up on his back and he starts sparking up slowly as he builds up his power. And it reminds me so much of like a little mini Godzilla, because once he gets powered up, he just shoots these huge like blasts of like electricity that kind of looks like fireballs, but it's all electric. It's just so badass.
The second you said that, I was like, yeah, it does look like the atomic roar.
Doesn't it though? Like that's all I could think of.
Sure. And then of course I was getting extra mad because when you fight him, it's in like the Hoarfrost Reach, and when I was sitting there and we're fighting him, I'm just like, you know what? The last time I was in a really cold area, the air is dry, so it adds to static electricity. This dude's an electric-based thing. So not only are our hits like just enraging him and he's just like slowly building up his electricity, the atmosphere is adding to it, and it's adding to the static electricity of us whacking him and then him just like collecting friction from running across things. So like as his like shackles started raising, I was just like, man, I bet if we was in the rainforest, it wouldn't be this easy for him. I was just getting mad.
Right? Absolutely not. But yeah, I think that they did a wonderful job with these, variations so far. And Gia and I haven't beaten it yet. Just to be clear, we're kind of powering along at our own pace and enjoying it.
I'm just going to be completely honest here. Sometimes Tino plays without me because I haven't even fought the acidic Glavenus. So now I know that he's been playing that.
Wow.
But to be fair, I got Borderlands 3 and I was playing that during the day while Tino was at work and saving all of my evening time to play Monster Hunter World Iceborne with him because I'm a good friend. Unlike some people I know who just play without me and then don't even tell me that they're on. Like I have to see it because I see them streaming the game, Tino.
So to clear the air, because Gia's just making assumptions, the only reason that I know about the acidic Glavenus, which she also knew about before me, is because I went into it so that I could view the cutscene and see that, and that way I could join her game or vice versa once we play. I have not beaten them. I hit pause on it.
I haven't even done that. So.
Well, I did it that night after we got off. I saw the cutscene and then I shut it down. Haven't been on
I appreciate you for not continuing the fight because he tried with the Tigrex and got bodied. And I was like, all right, I'm going to come in here and help you now.
I lost once.
Once was enough.
I hate that monster.
But yeah, no, I really like it. I definitely recommend it. I think we're either about a third of the way through the storyline or maybe closing in on halfway through because we've already hit the first Elder Dragon. And actually, in doing a little more reading on it, there's actually going to be 3 Elder Dragons because we have like the old Everworm or whatever. So that's 2 Elder Dragons. And then the Namiel was introduced in the old Ever Dragon or Elder Worm, whatever we want to call it, DLC announcement also. So that's at least 2 Elder Dragons right there. So I'm pretty stoked. I'm happy that they did subspecies, and even with them being subspecies of the other ones, like some of the attacks are similar, so you know enough to be able to dodge certain things, but they are almost a completely different beast, especially like when you get to the Viper Tobi Kadachi, or even just hanging out with the Puku Puki. Like, it's their fight mechanics. There's some things that are similar, but other things that are completely not. So even with them just rebranding old creatures and giving them like new, elements that they fit under, it's well done. And again, definitely recommend. I'll probably say I'll recommend it like 6 more times in the next 5 minutes if I could.
That Viper Tobi Kadachi sucks. Fighting him is such a huge pain in the ass. I don't appreciate him poisoning you like every 2 seconds, and then you got to drink antidote, and he waits for it. As soon as you touch the antidote, it's programmed to go right after you and just like wreck shop. So have fun with that one, guys. But the newest, the newest Elder Dragon that we've gotten the fight so far, I really aesthetically, Velkhana, I really enjoyed that fight and just the look of the monster so far.
Well, here's the thing. The only thing I'm mad about is you're telling me that a Viper Tobi Kadachi has bigger paw prints than that big old Elder Dragon. She had the daintiest little paw prints that looked like literally a cat just stepped on the ground. And I was like, there's no way that she has these tiny, tiny paw prints with how she looks.
She's
or
prissy.
He looks or whatever. But either, like, is she just like touching the ground with one of her toes each? Like her little toes are that strong to hold up her whole freaking weight just on like one toe each? I don't know.
She walks as if her claws are heels. She's got class. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Like I could just imagine that too, like little long old claws just like prancing around.
And what's cool about Velkhana, though, that they haven't done with the other monsters, at least in the previous installment, was Velkhana transforms.
Yep.
Which, we won't talk about the details because I want you guys to be kind of surprised as to how or why or what. But I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was really cool. I hope you're pleasantly surprised when you see it if you're a fan of Velkhana like we are.
Well, and then also, not only does she change forms, like, obviously, this ties into the subspecies of the other monsters, which you guys, when you play the game, you'll see what I mean by that. Like, there's a whole, like, catalytic effect. Although I will say, without throwing anything out there, we're always talking about saving the ecosystem, but every time this stuff comes around, we learn that we're really not helping the ecosystem. Like, this stuff was gonna happen anyway, and it happens over and over again, and we just come in and we're like, we're humans, let's change how everything works here. Let's do our own thing and say that we're saving the ecosystem.
They're like, well, we've been over here in Asteria for like 10 years, and it didn't happen in 10 years, so this must be a problem.
No, and not even that. It's like, oh, this old book says that this thing, or this first Wyverian is telling us that this thing happens every so often. Let's mess it up.
Kind of dumb. I mean, it makes it for, interesting gameplay, but kind of dumb.
Super dumb. But humans are dumb, and here we are to save the day, quote unquote.
So, all right, guys. Well, I think, we pretty much expressed, most of what we felt. So, have fun realizing that all the cool Devil May Cry gear and stuff that you've gotten in the previous Monster Hunter installment, it's all going to go by the wayside because it's all completely useless as soon as you start the Master Rank. Maybe they'll eventually add like upgrades or something so it's useful, or at least allow you to use some of the glamours for those sets for the new sets, because I know they did add in a lot more, but it's still also kind of limited. That's probably my only complaint, is I wish I could at least have the style.
I mean, and you can always just be like me and Tino making Downey Crake twin blades for the sleep bonus.
It was worth it. Right? Hit you with these soft pillow blades.
Like literally, because they're just like those, foxtails?
It's adorable and hilarious that they did that, and I love it. It's I got to get some more tickets so I can upgrade them to its full extent, but yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yep. I'm excited. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and definitely I recommend you getting Monster Hunter World Iceborne. And that's all I have. Tino?
All right, that's all she wrote. So thank you for tuning in today. Make sure you head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com, subscribe to the podcast, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Everything.
Yeah, I'll try to add in some links for Gia and our Twitch accounts. So if you guys are into that sort of thing, hey, hang out. Just talk in the chat. We're usually just hanging out for an hour or two every day or every other day. So it'll be fun. So, all right, guys, have a good night.
Bye.